Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bimmer Barn. In today's episode, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the 1998 528i that I recently purchased. We're going to be doing a full inspection and diagnosis of everything that is wrong with the car. It's not a lot, albeit because it does not have a check engine light. It drives great. All the suspension was recently refreshed as far as I'm told. So we're gonna take a really good look at it today to see exactly what we can fix on it for cheap to make it a great car for the next owner. I know we have to do some service like the oil change as well, but let's go ahead and take a deeper look at it now and see exactly what's wrong with this car. So here she is, my 1998 528i, and I think I called it a 97 maybe in the last episode, but checking the door tag, this is definitely a 98. And we're gonna start with our inspection from the outside of the car. This is something I like to do so that you guys that are watching the video, maybe you're interested in buying this, you guys get a good look of the car. I'm being completely honest with you guys, and I wanna make sure that whoever gets this car next really enjoys, what they bought. So outside of the car, we'll do first, and remember the front of the car has definitely been repainted. At the same time as the M5 bumper was installed, they also repainted the front hood, and also it looks like they blended into the fenders here. So it's a really nice blend from hood to fender to door. You really can't tell in person, or I mean maybe not on video, maybe right here you can kind of see a difference in colors, but there are a couple spots on the hood. It could use some wet sanding, some attention. It has a little bit of extra orange peel that the factory doesn't have, and also I think there's like one speck. There it is. There's one speck in the paint right there that could be wet sanded out, but I'm not going to spend 15 hours on this like we did on the E46 because the car really does look good. We might get into buffing out the hood here because there is some sun fading at the very front, so maybe we'll do the roof right here, buff that out so it'll look real nice. And the other thing that I'm worried about is this lip spoiler here. So I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that it's worth us going out spending $30 on paint to get this thing looking mint so that we can reinstall it? Or do you think that we should just remove it? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll definitely let you guys decide. Hopefully you guys give me some feedback there. Here from the back of the car, everything looks great. Bumper's good. We see the Super Sprint exhaust. I'm really excited to look and see. I think that it's a full system all the way up to the headers, but we're gonna find out. And again, I mentioned in the last episode, this car does have a little bit of surface rust here, but I'm not gonna take care of that because that is something that I haven't experimented with yet. So we'll go ahead and leave that alone for now. But anyways, the wheels, like we said, they are style 65 rims. However, they are replicas. So I saw the comments. I wish I could keep these guys and run them on my E39 M5 wagon, but there's really no point. They're probably the same replica wheels that I have currently. And again, I don't want to take away too much value from this car because I think it's really nicely set up as is. So I'm kind of just going to leave it as is. And also from the front, again, we do have the xenon headlights that were retrofitted. Looking at the dash, I think that it's a low beam warning that's showing us that the low beams are out, which I think is because we're, HIDs right now and it's looking for a halogen bulb. So I think that if we code the light module, we might be able to get rid of that error warning, but I'm not making any promises yet. We'll definitely do that in an upcoming episode. So now let's go ahead. From the outside, we'll move on to the interior of the car. Great condition interior wise. It's got the nicer leather package, the one that has like the double stitching here. Take a look at the doors. There is a little bit of rust coming through the doors. You can't see it from the outside, but you can see it from in here. I think this is from like the vapor barriers that, they fail on these. They leave water in the doors. The water rusts out. So we'll go ahead and check the other doors as well. This one, corner looks pretty good. No visible rust. This one looks pretty good as well. No visible rust. And this one as well, no visible rust. Actually, so this is also in really good condition. It looks like only the driver's door is kind of in poor condition. But if you want to, you could buy a door. It's nice that this is a Titan Silver car because there's tons of Titan Silver E39s out there, and the doors are the same between all of them. So I guess that answers that question about all the doors, but let's go ahead and look back inside. So one thing that I noticed, and this was kind of a weird one to find, is that this wheel here, it has some shake to it. Now, I'll go ahead and show you guys so you know what I'm talking about. It literally shakes up and down just like this. And there's a little, there's a little noise that comes from it, obviously, because, you're I don't know what it is. So this is something that's on my list to look at. I think we're gonna have to pull apart the steering column trim pieces here and probably the lower dashboard as well to get a really good look and see. I don't know what it could be. I know that there's two shear bolts on this car, or on the steering column, that, you know, they're made from factory. I don't imagine that they'd come loose, because in order to get them off, you actually have to like grind or drill them out. So I don't know know what we're gonna find, but we're gonna have to take apart the steering column here and see what's up. The shifter, honestly, it really returns to neutral really well, but I can feel that the bushings are super worn down. Like, it feels like you're rowing gears through butter, you know, when you're shifting this thing. So, but I mean, really, you know, I wouldn't do these bushings until I did the clutch. And I'm pretty sure that this car is on the original clutch, although it's really hard to believe. So that just says how easily this car was driven, not by any guys trying to do some drifting in their car or anything like that. Now, another thing I noticed really quickly, and you know, what's nice is that these things are complete, you know, the trim pieces for the switches here. One thing that I noticed is that when you try to go up and down, it's definitely twisted. So the motor is trying to raise the seat up on one side and the other side is stuck. So it's basically like lifting up the seat twisted like this. It's super weird because I know the backrest is supposed to twist commonly and you see them. It's really ugly. But this is a new one for me. So I'm wondering if this is something where we can take the seat out apart and maybe try cleaning the gears, testing the motors and seeing what the deal is. If it is a problem, you know, we do have some parts cars obviously laying around. So maybe we can get a motor or a frame rail in there that's not twisted, and that way it'll go up and down perfectly, because that's something that's pretty annoying, especially when you're a tall guy like me and you want to lower the seat down and you can't, so you're forced to be like super close to the roof here. Now, in terms of like aesthetic condition, you know, the steering wheel definitely has seen some better days. It's worn down right here. It's just completely dried up. As far as like the interior trim, the wood here, it's a little bit cracked. Plastic trim right here, it's you know, it's faded a little bit. And also these cup holders, I think one of them works and one of them doesn't, but these things are basically useless anyways. Now, if we put the key in, I want to show you guys something. The screen here for the radio, it's got some dead pixels, but what's nice is I have like 50 of these things. Not really, but I have probably like 4 or 5 extra radios, so I'll probably go ahead and stick one in this car. That way the radio is 100% in working condition. But as far as that goes, that's really the only thing in here that doesn't work. Like I said, we do have a bulb warning right here, but I'm pretty sure that's just because the car was never coded for having the xenon light package. So as soon as we do that coding, the bulb check there will go off, or if we just turn off the bulb check warning in the light control module, it'll also go off there. But anyways, yeah, we need to code that xenon and make that bulb go away, and that'll be the only check engine or any light related on this dashboard. And yes, look, 24 miles to the gallon. Isn't that impressive, guys? That's a good gas mileage for this thing. So do we even dare test the sunroof? I don't know. I think the previous owner tried to show me and it honestly was not working, but let's see if we can diagnose what the issue is here. I think that the motor is good. Definitely wants to go back, forward. Oh, it does go forward. Back, forward. Huh. Let's see if I don't know. Should we try to go all the way back, guys? All right, we'll try to go all the way back. Halfway works. All right, all the way open, and let's see if she goes all the way back. Oh boy. What? I thought it wasn't working on this car. Isn't that weird? Huh. I could have sworn that this thing was not working the last time that I saw it, but now it looks like it even goes back to its regular position. It's fully sealed here, so look at that. That's something lucky, guys. The sunroof works. So that being said, the sunroof works, but only 2 of the windows work. I think it's that one back there and this one here that work. So the front passenger and the rear driver, both of these, we might end up buying a motor and regulator for both of these, because when they start ticking like that, you're not sure if it's a binded regulator or if it's a binded motor. So might as well just do both at the same time. Right, Goose? Now, one more thing that kind of bugs me before we get into the drivetrain of the car, and that is the fact that this battery, this key doesn't work. You can see this one, it's got a little bit of juice left in it. This one though, it definitely has a battery in there, but for some reason I couldn't get it to connect the inside of the car here. And I did look up the E39 procedure. You know, you put the key in, you take the key out, you press a couple buttons, hold and do this and that, and then it works like magic. But it did not work on this car. And you know, I definitely had it working on my M5 wagon. I was able to successfully program that after I had to replace the key battery when I first got the car. But this one definitely has a good battery, so I'm not sure what it is. I might look into getting like another chip board. Maybe we can put a battery in this one or change out the chip transponder, whatever, so that this one would work. But I really would prefer to sell the car with a key that's able to lock and unlock the car from the outside, because I think that's really, you know, a really cool feature. But anyways, we are now ready to move on to the motor. And let's give her a good shakedown and see exactly what is up. And you know what? It's pretty dark in here. Let me turn on some light. There you go. A little bit of light there from my LED light bar. Link in the description, obviously. So we'll start from left to right here. Obviously, this thing is super dirty. Titan Silver doesn't really show well. I will admit that. It's really hard to clean, and it's always going to look like a dirty gray like this. But I mean, this is sort of ridiculous right here. This should definitely come off with some degreaser. Cabin air filters. Let's see what condition these are in. I know people typically forget about these, and it looks like, I don't know. Looks like they've definitely been around town a couple times, and there's this kind of discoloration here. It looks like maybe water, dirty water, something like that. So I'm probably gonna add that to the list, get some fresh air purifier things in there. So we'll add that to the list for sure. Need to get some cabin air filters. We're working from over here. Vacuum line looks to be new or replaced. Definitely is in good condition. Looks like the headers are clean. Doesn't seem to be any oil on the headers. But there is some oil on the valve cover gasket, like on the valve cover itself. So I wouldn't be surprised if air was, you know, pushing that oil up onto the cover. That's what was causing it to leak, or it could also be from the spark plug tubes. So let's go ahead and take off this cover right here and see what's underneath. Come to mama. All right, cover is off. We can see some oil here. It's hard to say where it's coming from. It definitely seems a little bit too high on the valve cover just to say that it's the valve cover gasket, but I will add the valve cover gasket to the list. It's pretty cheap, it's easy to replace, and it gives the next person that peace of mind that they don't have to worry about any leaks happening. And so, of course, while I'm here, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull a spark plug out. We can see how old they are, and it's a very dangerous slope, I'll say, that I'm going on right now, because I told myself I don't want to spend more than $500 on this car before it goes to the next owner. And currently, oil change, window regulators, valve cover gasket, cabin filters. I don't know. Sounds like we're almost at like $200 now. And that's just me guessing. So later we'll have to put some numbers on the screen. Maybe I can show us how much we can fix all this stuff for. Moment of truth. Oh boy. I knew I shouldn't have looked at them. All right, these have to go. If you ask me, once it starts to turn orange right here, that's when I know that I have to replace my spark plugs. Otherwise, we can take a look at the tip here. Doesn't look like any damage to the tip. Doesn't look like any weird burning. You know, it's, you know, black. It had a little bit of oil at first, but I think maybe it came off of my fingers. Really not wet, not super dry or anything, but you know, we're gonna have to replace these because now that I've seen them and I know that they're starting to show their age, I just want to make sure that we have good spark plugs in here. It's just one of those simple things that you can do that will help a car run better, and it's pretty cheap to do. Usually you're gonna pay like $7 for a spark plug, so that's like another $45 right there probably, but something that's good to do. And we're gonna have the valve cover off later anyways, so you might as well. So moving on, we've got the power steering cap seal. You can see that it's got some buildup around the outside here, but that's a super cheap little seal to buy, so we'll go ahead and replace it. And over here we've got this cold air intake. I think that we've got the factory intake box in the trunk, so we need to go check on that, but otherwise boot looks to be good, not like dried out or anything. Everything's tight here. Oh, okay. I don't know if that's supposed to do that. Might have to look at some diagrams and see if there's a part number for like a clip or something that holds the throttle cable on, because that doesn't look right to me. Otherwise, oil, I know that the oil needs to be changed. We had to put in some Walmart oil before driving it the other day, so we're gonna order a full oil change kit. And as far as the top mounts go on the suspension, they definitely look to be have been replaced. You know, usually you'd see like cracking marks on the rubber here when it indicates that it's old or original, but that's definitely not the case here. And again, I was told by the previous owner that the suspension has been fully refreshed, so we're gonna be finding out whether that's a truth or a lie in a second. And one last thing before I close the hood here, I was just taking a look. Check out this window cowl. Woo wee! That's gold, boys. That's gold right there. That thing's definitely been replaced replaced before, usually that rubber seal would start to rot away and fall off, chip away, but that definitely looks like it's been replaced before because it looks great. So anyways, that's going to conclude our look over of the engine from the top side. Obviously, kind of the cheaper things to fix is what you find up here, and the more expensive stuff is what you find down there. So let's go ahead, get this thing jacked up on my quick jack here, and then we'll get under it and see exactly what's going on. All right, the car is up, and usually I would start at the front, but today we're gonna get on the creeper and let's start from the back of the car and work our way forwards and see what we can find. All right, so the first thing that we notice is that there is a bulb coming out of the trunk here. So note to self, let's take apart the trunk, probably clean it, because there's a couple of holes here. We don't want anything valuable to fall out. But what's good is that there are no dents and there is no rust here that I can see so far. We have a differential, looks like a possible differential gasket seal starting to leak right here, or I don't know. Yeah, that's what it really looks like to me. Maybe possibly the output shaft seals, but those look pretty dry right now. Definitely drier than the gasket. So definitely the rear gasket, we're not going to replace that because I do think that you have to drop the differential in order to get to that, but just something to note. Now this is really sad. Look at this exhaust here. This is a genuine Super Sprint exhaust muffler. And it looks like it just started rotting from the inside out. And over here it's been scraping. So, you know, obviously the E39, some models didn't have like a bumper that allowed for like an exhaust to exit from it. And then this is what you get. You get an exhaust that hangs too low. You replace it with an aftermarket one and then it starts to scrape. So that's unfortunate, but it does sound nice. The exhaust still does sound really good. And yeah, it is just unfortunate that it's a nice brand, but not in the best condition. And it also looks like it's been welded here, so I'm not sure if this is application specific. Does look like some custom mounts for the exhaust hangers, but maybe someone can let me know if you guys are familiar with this. This is a weird setup. Anyways, let's keep moving on. So as far as suspension in the back of the car, it's really hard to say what could be new or old, but this arm right here does look newer than the rest. The Bilstein shock definitely been replaced before, but the sway bar end links have not been. Looks like they're torn. Not gonna hurt anyone, but obviously, you know, with time and wear, these things could pop out and then you wouldn't be running a sway bar at all. And taking a closer look at the shocks right here, you can see the reason this car sits so good is because it does have HR lowering springs. You can see the purple color right there. So that's a really good combo, Bilstein with HR lowering springs. So we'll keep on moving on. The bushings for the suspension look good, you know, don't look like they're torn or anything. Gas tank straps, good condition. Exhaust hanging a little bit low. All right, this is interesting. Looks like some sort of aftermarket exhaust welded up here. Is that an H pipe right there? Looks like it. There's our post-cat O2, and I think we probably have the pre-cats up there. Interesting. These are catalytic converters? Question mark? Oh, I see. Yep. Oh, you know what? I'm starting to realize. It's because this is an M52. It uses those M50 style, M52 style headers, which don't have cats. Then I don't know why it has custom exhaust all the way back here, but these are definitely aftermarket cats, I'm gonna say. So that is interesting to find. All right, so now we're getting closer to the engine and things start to get wetter. You can see that is the selector rod for the shift mechanism, and it's wet. And looking at the transmission, looks like we might have a possible rear output shaft seal from the transmission starting to leak, or probably been leaking, honestly. You can see a little bit of fluid coming out of the transmission right there on the drain plug. Not sure if that's coming from the drain plug, could be coming from the side or from the input shaft. And also the flex disc looks like it's original, hasn't been replaced before. A little bit of stretch marks on there. All right, so transmission, not too bad condition. Like I said, flex disc, Gibo, maybe the rear output shaft seal. But now let's go ahead and start looking at the suspension. So it looks like new control arm, new end link. This looks original. Bushing looks good though. not torn, good. And the outer tie rod looks like it's new as well. Maybe even the boot here. Oh, that's right. You know what? The steering column, it's been replaced before. So I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video, but that definitely seems like an expensive service to do. I'm not sure if this is remanufactured OEM or if it's an aftermarket unit, but it does look like it's in good condition. No leaks or anything, so that's great. But yeah, suspension good, and the Bilsteins in the front, that's great. And also the lowering springs. So very cool, very cool. Engine mounts look to be pretty worn, probably need to be replaced at some point. But the oil pan looks dry. Well, maybe at the front there it looks like there might be something, but otherwise nice and dry. We don't see like a lot of oil on the bottom of the pan here, which is where it would accumulate if it was really leaking. I think we're gonna go ahead and pull this cover off. Let me go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll take a look at the front of the motor. All right, got that cover down. First thing that I noticed is that the power steering pump here has a little bit of fluid. This could definitely be the feed line. So if it's something cheap, I would love to fix that because it does seem to be dry otherwise underneath here in the engine. Look at that oil pan, nice and dry. Maybe starting to leak right there in the middle. So not even at the front, but in the middle of the pan, it looks like it could be getting a little bit wet. So the belts look good as well. You know, no tears or unusual wear marks, anything like that. So anyways, guys, that's about everything that we found underneath the engine bay. Not too much service to worry about down here, but definitely good results, and happy to see that we definitely do have some new control arms and new suspension for sure. So that's really cool. That's why the car drives really well. I will say it does drive really, really nicely. So yeah, now let's go back up top and see if we can kind of get a running list going of what we need to order. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do a little bonus here. Let's go ahead and unbox everything inside the trunk here and see exactly what we got. All right, so I kind of had to spread everything across the ground here to show you. We'll start with these. These are pre-facelift tail lights. I'm not sure why they're here. They definitely seem to be in good condition, so you can probably catch these on my eBay page, honestly. Nothing bad there. Here are some Boston green side view mirrors, and they appear to have good glass in them, and the harness is good and all that. Same thing over on this one. So not sure why these are included. Probably just spares. I think he said that he previously had an E39 besides this one, and these are just some extra parts. And I think that that's where a lot of these things came from. They were probably old parts from the previous car or maybe from this thing. Here's a really good box of stuff. First of all, we got the trim piece right here from the rear bumper, which is going to replace this one in the middle, so we won't have that ugly gap. So we'll definitely have to change that out. And here is a cool BMW flashlight. I don't expect this to work, but I think we'll throw it in the glove box because it's really cool to see that thing in there. Maybe it'll charge up, might surprise us and start working. Here's a tool from the toolkit, so I think that needs to go back in the toolkit. Actually, let's try right now. I think it goes in here. I believe right there. I think it goes just like that, so it goes right there in that spot. I think the only other things missing are an Allen key that goes right there, and then the emergency first aid kit that goes right there. Go ahead and close that. Got some extra airbags, extra trim, active stability control button, trim piece with the button for, I don't know. I thought that these were supposed to have like a TPMS button there, but I could be mistaken. This is a PM. I don't recognize those initials. PM. Someone let me know what this is, the PM module. Got an extra set of window washer buttons, switches, more switches, more switches. Just a whole bunch of broken stuff. Half decent BMW badge, more trim, factory markers, and a bad handle. So kind of like a mystery junk box. Honestly, a lot of this should be trash. Oh, look at this, cool tools. We've got some extra tools. That's cool, but I know that our toolkit already has all that stuff. So that's that box. That's box number 1. We have another box over here. We'll call this box number 2. In here we've got a Motronic ECU. Maybe for a transmission. Looks like a license plate bracket, some old ECU, not sure what it is. Take a look. Random trim piece. Random trim piece. Not even from this car. What computer is this? Random cup holder. Ooh, this is cool. Wow. It looks like it's mega old and stuff, but Fields BMW Winter Park, this place is like right down the street from us. There's no way this could be like original from when the car was sold. There's no way. Anyways, let's go ahead and look. These are some things I emptied out in the trunk here. Looks like just one halogen light. That's interesting. I thought maybe we'd have both, but just one is there. Another non-facelift tail light. Looks like the audio receiver. This was weird. Looks like a matching DME. I'll have to look up what the VIN is there. Future me will probably put it in the corner what car this came out of. And also the matching EGS for the transmission, I'm thinking. And these are not from this car because I looked at the VIN. It's not the ones from this car. But yeah, it is curious where those came from. And finally, these rear light power circuit things. And oh, this one's cool. This is a license plate delete trim for the front bumper. I think this car already has all that stuff up there. Maybe it's for a different bumper. And here's some trim for the headlight, and here's some trim for the seats. So basically a bunch of junk back here. Let me see if we can find what's in the trunk, the junk in the trunk, you know what they say. Okay, full-size spare, random hose in case you ever need to fix that hose. And it looks like just kind of dirty down here. We'll have to clean this up. Nothing surprising in there. A battery. And nothing surprising in there. So there you go. That's all the extra stuff that we got in the trunk. Hope you guys were entertained. I was definitely curious to see what this is, but I'm probably going to be saving half of this and junking the rest, or trying to put it on eBay, because I do love hoarding E39 parts. You can never have enough of them. So that's everything about this 528i that I can find right now. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and buy some things, and maybe by fixing some loose bolts for the steering column, that thing will tighten up. But off the top of my head, I'd say that the things I want to get ordered are gonna be an oil change kit for sure. I want to get some cabin filters so that we got some fresh air conditioning coming through. I want to get the spark plugs for sure and change the valve cover gasket as well. Both of those out. Probably give it like a brake fluid flush, but that's super cheap. I have that brake fluid here. And oh, and also the power steering line, I want to check that out. Probably take a look from up top here, see if it's like the power steering feed line or one of those. Maybe we can get it replaced for cheap and fix that issue. And besides that, like I said, we just have some like free work to do, like coating the light control module so it doesn't give us an error on the dashboard anymore for a low beam out. Oh, that's right. We also have to get the window regulators, but I think we're gonna get those off of Amazon, maybe some aftermarket ones because they're gonna save us a couple bucks. And I think that's it. But not too much stuff. I want to keep it kind of budget friendly and get this thing driving real nice, and then hopefully list it on either like Bring a Trailer or Cars and Bits. So I hope you guys are excited to see this car kind of flip, turn around, and if you guys are interested, hit my line up because this thing is for sale. But anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Please leave a like or a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't yet, and we'll see you in the next video.